Who's ready for a photo walk? You know, like a really great, big, giant 2,500 mile plus photo walk. Maybe we should go make it a road trip. Maybe the greatest road trip of all time, the Mother Road, Route 66, in a car from Chicago all the way to LA. This is where it starts, and we're going to jump in and celebrate the 100th Centennial, actually coming in 2026, but we're going to celebrate it now. Let's go together and explore the Mother Road.
You're watching PhotowalksTV from the beginning of Route 66 at Lou Mitchell's restaurant.
For our trip, we actually flew from Los Angeles to Chicago and began by renting a car at Avis. No classic car.
And last of all, designed for the electronic highway of the future.
But the Toyota RAV4 did just great by us. The plan was to be on the road for 3 weeks and follow the classic song for the route. You know, Chicago to St. Louis, Oklahoma City looking mighty pretty. You'll see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Plus some other great places like Tulsa, Tucumcari, Shamrock and Adrian, Texas, Williams and Seligman, Arizona, and then some. Now that's a lot to fit in 21 days, but we made it work. As always for this series, I brought along the same camera you probably travel with to document Route 66, a smartphone. No fancy camera or heavy gear needed. You can do pretty much everything you want on a current smartphone from Apple, Samsung, or Google. Meanwhile, so why a cross-country Route 66 trip?
It's like you get to see parts of the world you could never see.
A fantastic way to see the history of how things have changed and how things used to be.
Route 66 still represents this unique journey that provides you with a connection to like real America and the people that provide these experiences that you can't replicate anywhere else. So you can stop in a diner, you can go into a little small town museum or stop at some really weird looking attractions, try to learn its story, and you're going to get an experience that doesn't exist anywhere else. And a lot of young people, when they're traveling, they want Instagrammable moments. They want something that they can go back and tell their friends, hey, I did this. You can't just do this by going down the street. Plus, it still has that romantic allure, especially if you take the entire road from Chicago to Santa Monica. The landscape changes. You get to see little pieces of what makes this country what it is today, and that's why it appeals to so many international travelers too.
For me, the goal, of course, is to see all of the world's most photographable places, and Route 66 and all those small towns really fit the bill, right? With the 1926 to 2026 Centennial around the corner, I wanted to go out on the open road and celebrate the Mother Road, America's first highway. The road that encouraged people to begin motoring and heading west in their Model Ts back in 1926. However, Route 66 was passed over in the 60s and 70s for the superhighway. How's it faring today?
Here it is. It's time for photo walks.
In Chicago, we began our trip by staying for 4 nights at the Best Western River North, which happens to be in a great neighborhood that's really convenient and walking distance to many of the places that you will want to visit in the Windy City, like the iconic Chicago Theater, swanky Michigan Avenue, Pizzerina Uno and Dewey's, where deep dish pizza was invented, and the street where Route 66 begins right there on Adams and Wabash Avenue.
This is where it begins, right across the street from the Chicago Art Institute.
So that's where we started and headed down the road, some 2,448 miles ahead of us.
So we're headed to our first stop, believe it or not, right in the heart of Chicago, to a little diner called Lou Mitchell's. This is the traditional starting off point for the trip. Many people would go there and get sandwiches for the long drive. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a fluffy omelet, of course, and maybe talk to some of the people there about their history with Route 66. Okay, the world famous Lou Mitchell's. Route 66, here we go. So we're doing a series on Route 66. I understand it all starts here.
This is the beginning of Route 66 for almost all travelers. We get people that have come from every corner of the earth. to start their trips with motorcycles, Corvettes, tour buses, RVs. They've been through it.
And with that, we jumped into the RAV4 and headed down Jackson Avenue, waving goodbye to Nick and the great folks at Lou Mitchell's, and heading down the city streets that once upon a time led the way just to St. Louis, as the rest of the country waited for the completion of the new highway. It was here early on that we learned one of the dirty little secrets of driving Route 66. It ain't easy. The powers that be do everything in their power to get you on the big highway, not the old road, and they will push you there. In this case, it was Route 55, which eventually got us off the highway, thank you, and onto the back roads of 66, bringing us right into the small town of Joliet, where we couldn't help but notice the Blues Brothers, Jake and Elwood, dancing atop a local diner. It was here in the classic movie where the Blues Brothers performed a concert at the local jail. The next stop up the road was Braidwood, where we had our first Elvis sighting, as well as Marilyn, James Dean, Betty Boop, and Superman himself, who, as you know, hails from the Midwest, Smallville, Kansas. Our main first stop was the town of Pontiac, which describes itself as museums, murals, meals, and merchants, and it didn't disappoint.
So lunchtime on Route 66, Illinois, the Ethel gas tank sort of says it all. The old log cabin, we were told, over 100 years old. How can we not go in for a grilled cheese and milkshake, right? All righty, look at this place. Route 66, I love it. Here comes the shake. Oh boy, thank you. Look what we got here. You can't go to a diner without a classic vanilla shake, right?
All right.
I understand you're the guy that knows everything about Route 66, right?
Not everything.
You're going to sit down and tell me all about it, right? All the great best places to go. And Pontiac, and we're going to sit right over there. You'll tell me all.
There you go.
Okay.
My first question, why are people so fascinated with Route 66 at this point in history?
I think several things. One, the song, The Grapes of Wrath, the whole story about Oklahoma going west. All the mom and pop places like this that just blossomed. I mean, just look at this place 100 years later.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
All right, Pontiac, Illinois, what to do after the diner? Well, there's all those great murals in town and one of the best Route 66 museums right inside. Let's check it out.
The Route 66 Hall of Fame and Museum is housed in the old City Hall building, built in 1891, and it features cars, gas pumps, and road signs from every state. It leads to the many murals all over Pontiac, including the classic one out back, which the city says is the largest Route 66 shield anywhere, some 25 feet tall. If you're counting, that would be nearly 4 Jeffs stacked atop each other. You'll also see a tribute to the Route 66 legend, the late Bob Waldmeyer, an artist who was known for traveling up and down the Mother Road in his old VW bus. And furthermore, he was the inspiration for the character Fillmore in the Pixar film Cars, which you'll be hearing a lot about in this series as the film takes place on Route 66. Beyond Pontiac, you'll find his influence in Arizona, where he once owned the Hackberry General Store, and in nearby Springfield, Illinois, which we're going to visit in our next segment. His father created the Cozy Dogs fast food joint, said to be the home of the original corn dog. Love Pontiac, but it's time to hit the open road again. Next stop, the first Springfield that we'll be hitting on this Route 66 trip. All right, I know I said that Springfield was the next stop, but then you start driving and you pass through Normal and that great selfie spot, and then Atlanta, Illinois, the land of the Giants. the home of Chubby's Bar and Grill, the home of beer that will give you health and strength. You know you got to pull over and get some shots, right? So what's with all those giants in this tiny town that has a population of just under 2,000 people? Well, Atlanta is on the original Route 66 1926 alignment, and it embraces the history of the road, which used great roadside attractions to get you to stop and visit. The huge Paul Bunyan with the hot dog was one of the first we saw on this journey, and he certainly wasn't the last. But Atlanta certainly had more of them per capita than anywhere else on the route. The vintage Texaco gas station, which has been refurbished to look like an original from the 1940s, doubles as a museum, and sadly it was closed when we arrived. It also features two more giants to get your attention, and on the outskirts of town there was yet another named Lumi the Pie Lady. From Atlanta, it was a 45-minute drive to Springfield, the state capital, and basically the land of Lincoln, as you will soon see. It was late, so we quickly checked into our hotel, the Best Western Clear Lake Plaza, which is just down the way from the downtown attractions. Our first stop was dinner, and since we were on the classic Route 66 journey, there was only one place we would even consider going. Hello, Cozy Dog. Beyond your Cozy Dogs, burgers, fries, and the like, our drive-in also serves as a great little Route 66 memorabilia museum with signs, photos, articles, and of course, mementos for sale. Remember our old friend, the late Bob Waldmeyer, the artist from Pontiac? Well, his dad started the Cozy Dog back in 1949, and it's still being run by the family today.
Back when he was in the military, back then they used to make the cozy or corn dogs and waffle iron, so it'd be the breading and then the waffle iron, and he wanted to make a faster way to make them, so he came up with the idea to put them on the stick and batter them and then deep fry them. And it was back in the military, and he brought that idea back to the United States with him when he, was discharged from the Army or left the Army, I'm not sure.
But they're not called corn dogs, right?
That's right.
Okay, they're called?
Cozy Dogs.
Because
that's what they called them? I don't know. I know that Ed wanted to call them the Krusty Cur, and his wife was not happy with that, so she decided upon the Cozy Dog.
And if you're in Springfield during the summer months, don't forget to check out the Route 66 experience at the State Fairgrounds. It highlights 92 communities all along Illinois Route 66 with vintage billboards and signs.
All righty, we are ready for day 2 in Springfield, Illinois. Just had a hearty breakfast at the Best Western, had an apple cheese omelet, and I'm taking some Cheerios to go. 2 things people say we got to do in Springfield beyond the Cozy Dogs: Abraham Lincoln Museum, State Capitol. So next stop, let's go check them out.
Beyond the roadside attractions and kitsch of Route 66, would you believe that there is a world-class museum devoted to the life and career of Abraham Lincoln in Springfield? Now, the nation's 16th president wasn't even born in Springfield. He didn't move there until he was 21, but the town calls him their own. See what I mean? Lincoln lived and worked in Springfield and rose to the presidency from here. Notable exhibits include recreations of the White House, Ford's Theater, and Lincoln's boyhood home, original artifacts such as Lincoln's handwritten Gettysburg Address and the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, just down the street from the museum are 2 state capitals. The original, the old state capitol, which closed shop in 1876, and the new one, which has been in operation ever since, and it's also home to the Illinois state government. I've been to a lot of capitals over the years, and this one is quite a showplace and really photo-worthy. It has the tallest dome of any U.S. capitol at 361 feet. I love the contrast between symmetry and detail, tall arched windows, Corinthian columns, and sculptural flourishes throughout, but it's the inside with the 4-story central rotunda, mosaic floors, and all those stained glass ceilings. After Springfield, we caught one more vintage gas station in town, Shays, and this one looked even more vintage than the last one, this time circa 1930s, and we had lots of fun with those Phillips 66 signs. Then it was back onto rural Route 66 and some of the prettiest countryside we saw anywhere on the trip, so green. Then we stopped into Auburn for the Brick Road. Yes, a 1.4 mile brick road that's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The road dates back to 1931 and is definitely worth a stop. It's time for a photo tip segment where I offer suggestions on how to get pro-level vacation photos with your phone. Now, since this is the first episode of our Route 66 journey together, I thought I'd kick it off by running down my top 15 tips for great vacation phone photos. Number 1, clean that lens, please, because the camera is rustling in our pockets and purses and it gets filthy. A cloth will do the trick. Number 2, check the battery, because I don't want you going out on a day of Route 66 shooting with a battery at 10%. Before you leave for your trip, buy an accessory battery in the form of a power bank that will keep you going all day. If you're an iPhone user, the MagSafe models will snap directly onto the back of your phone, and they're great. If you have Android, you'll need to buy a MagSafe case to snap the power bank onto. Number 3, check storage. The best time to clear your phone and make room is before the trip, so you don't get those nasty out-of-storage messages when you're out shooting. I don't want that to happen. Number 4, signs. Be sure to nab the welcome to, greetings from signposts. They work really well as markers to help you remember where you went, to tell your travel story, and to add to online videos. They also make a fantastic selfie spot. Number 5, speaking of selfies, nobody should leave home without a selfie stick. They may seem corny, but they do a really good job for helping us get better selfies, because the distance from our faces with the stick makes us look better. I film every episode of Photowalks with a selfie stick. They're also great for video pans. Number 6, tourist offices and postcards. The visitor center always makes sure to visit them first to pick up brochures and tips and check out the postcards to see what the great local shots are. They're a great stop for inspiration. Number 7, bad weather, no problem. As you'll see when we visit New Mexico in an upcoming Route 66 episode, a rainstorm only makes for better neon photos. Smartphones are water resistant, so you can use them in the rain without worry. They do a great job snapping the reflections in the water and sidewalks created by the rain. Number 8, shade. The best place to get nice portraits of someone during the day is in the shade for nice, even, flat, flattering facial tones. Photos taken in bright sunlight produce raccoon-like shadows and do not make us look good. Number 9, keep moving. That's shade part 2. If you're taking a photo of someone in the middle of the day and they don't look so great, keep moving until they do. Go left, right, behind, in front. Keep trying until one of those angles work, and one of them should work. Number 10, sunsets. Don't be in a rush to leave. The best colors of a sunset show up around 10 to 15 minutes after the sun has fallen. What's the hurry? You have nowhere to go. You're on vacation. Number 11, take video and stills at the same time. It's easy to do. Once you click the red record button, the white shutter for stills also shows up. This way you don't have to toggle back and forth between video and stills. Number 12, live photos. Don't you hate it when you've snapped someone's photo and their eyes are closed? With Apple's Live Photos trick, you shoot 3 seconds of video with the photo, and you can go back in later in the edit and open up their eyes. So be sure to turn on live photos if you have an iPhone. Number 13, make use of time-lapse videos to watch the world fly by at super speeds. They're fun and easy to do, and all you need is a tripod and a smartphone mount, as well as patience. Every phone has a time-lapse feature in the camera app. Number 14, override auto, because it's not always right. If it doesn't look good, play with your settings. Number 15, the 1x lens is your sharpest lens and the best in low light. Try to use it most of the time, especially indoors. That's a wrap for our first portion of the Illinois to California Route 66 Mother Road Centennial journey. We got several other states coming right up, so be sure to stick with Photowalks. Meanwhile, don't forget that I'm one click away with any of your questions, concerns, or comments. Just look for me at PhotowalksTV.com. I'm Jefferson Graham, and I'll see you in Missouri.